What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the Cop Out podcast. I'm Mick, and I'm joined again by Kristian. How you doing, Kristian?
Yeah, good. I had a bit of a break from last time. You and Farrell was doing a show, so I just had a little bit of break. I was in Stockholm for work stuff, so enjoyed actually just listening and watching.
Oh, good that
Yeah,
you tuned in. Yeah, that was at I didn't know that one was going to go ahead with all the news of the Queen and stuff, but we ended up doing it
yeah.
anyway, and it was I felt better. I felt like I'd got loads of stuff off my chest, so that was good. Felt loads better after the Napoli game. But we're on YouTube today, and we're also on Facebook as well. I can see we've got a couple of people on watching on Facebook now, which is good. If you do want to jump over to YouTube and watch us on there, then even better. But no worries, we appreciate you watching either way. But yeah, the show was about obviously tomorrow night. We had the beautiful Reds in Europe intro twice in a row because we didn't have the Premier League game against Wolves, and it turns out they've just signed Diogo Costa as well. So that we need to face him at some point, which is going to be hilarious. But yeah, Ajax tomorrow. Kristian, how are you feeling? Obviously, coming off the back of the absolutely horrific 4-1 defeat to
Yeah,
Napoli last week. How are you feeling going into this one?
I'm actually feeling more positive than maybe we should. If we look back on that game against Napoli, but I'm just thinking, even if Ajax actually, scored, was it 4-0 against Rangers? Yeah, for them at
I
home.
think so, yeah. 3 or
Yeah,
4. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I don't see them as that big of a threat without, being disrespectful. But they lost quite many good players this summer, and even the year before as well. They are not as good as I think they were when we played them last time, or even when they went quite far in the Champions League against Tottenham in the semi-finals. They are not the same team, even if they got a few players, but they're a little bit older as well. But they are a team with lots of good talents and playing good football. So we should never underestimate them. But I feel positive. We're back at Anfield and it's Champions League. So when like we said before, now we said it plenty of times, but now we need to get this turnaround and quickly. So please, great game Tuesday night, Champions League under the floodlights. Just you get it done with.
Yeah, nice to get back into the ground. It feels like ages. I haven't been personally for a while, and I'm going tomorrow thanks to you sorting me out with a couple of tickets. So I'm looking forward to getting back in there. Yeah. Get on Kristian for your tickets, lads. Get on, girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously the Napoli game wasn't too good. We were going to do the show before Klopp's press conference, but his press conference was just before, so that's why we've waited a little bit longer so we could get those quotes and digest them. But there was one I just want to put up on screen that I thought was quite funny in terms of his response because we can see it there. He got asked if the break of 6 days means his side could lose rhythm, and he said, "Did you see our game? If we could lose this kind of rhythm, it would be really cool." And I really do enjoy when Klopp says things like that because I get what the question's saying because under Klopp, when we do have a break, we tend to not be as good. But when you're being as bad as we are at the moment, a break and some some conversations to be had between the players, between the manager, and between on the training field is something that is needed at the moment, isn't it? To kind of try and figure out what we're going to do going forward to try and get ourselves out of this rut.
Yeah, I think his reply was hilarious to be honest, because he just says it all that if we could lose that kind of rhythm, it would be great because we don't need this rhythm, we need another rhythm. So Klopp is good in that way. He can sometimes be a little bit stubborn, but when you get questions like that, I guess you just lose it and just reply with the shortest, most logical answer in one way. So you don't need to say more than that.
Yeah, no, that's why we love him. But yeah, we've got a few people in the comments. Nice one, everyone, for jumping in. Tomo, the real fat Allison. Love that name. I absolutely love it. Gomez can't play centre back anymore. Still hasn't got over the 7-2 Aston Villa. Had a golden chance with the other injuries to other players, but chance not taken. What are your thoughts on that? Because I thought Gomez has done. I thought he's done good in some games, but I just thought that maybe the Napoli game was one game too many in a row. Like I would have preferred Matip in that game. I think we both said we would have preferred Matip in the Napoli game just for that experience at the back. And I think, yeah, maybe one game too many for Gomez in a row. in his, like, I was going to say like his rehabilitation, but he's still trying to find his feet after a bad injury, I suppose. And I think he's not been playing. Obviously, Kanate's been great, Matip's been great, so he hasn't had, even when he was maybe ready to go, he's played fullback a couple of times last year, but he didn't really get a chance at centre back. And I suppose he did get a chance, and he wasn't good against Napoli. But I think he's good as an option, isn't he? He's definitely. I don't think he. I mean, as a centre back or right back, he's a great option, I think, going forward.
Yeah, and like we said before, he's been one of the best centre backs in England, and obviously in Napoli game he was really really bad. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, to be honest, because I haven't seen that from him before. He's been bad in other games before, but not this bad. But I think he got great skill set as a centre back and even as a backup for Trent as well. So I wouldn't just take him out or don't play him anymore. I think, like you said, maybe too many games in a row, but he got the skills for it, and he will know, he made the mistakes and learn from it as well. But yeah, it's a little bit concerning because you want to have that kind of backup play in those positions who can actually come in and do a great job and not do that bad job as against Napoli. But you look at what kind of options you would have had as a centre back now when you have Konate's out. Joe Gomez as an option is great, like you said. So wouldn't drop him just like that, but yeah, maybe rest him a little bit, use Matip, and make him get his confidence back.
Yeah, I think he's a good option. I think he's definitely a good option. We just need to maybe pick and choose when he's going to play. I think that comes into what I said before, the rehabilitation period. Like Van Dijk coming back from his injury, start of last season, didn't he? And he wasn't probably himself until Christmas time, something like that. So it took him about 3-4 months to get to the point where you're like, right, there's the Van Dijk back. And I know that we've not been great collectively this year, and a lot of flack has been going Van Dijk's way, like conceding 2 penalties in 7 games when he'd only conceded 1 in the previous 150. Just stuff like that where
that's more concerning, to be honest, than Joe Gomez.
Yeah, and that's something that I know, like Klopp done the press conference and then Matt had done a press conference, and we were just laughing before we started recording about his answers. But he was saying like people are having conversations with each other, and like no one was getting annoyed with each other. It was just something that needed to happen to kind of break the cycle currently in. Like it's not a catastrophic cycle we're in. We're just in a bad moment in comparison to what we usually are, and just think with players come back, I think that helps loads as well. But Dan J's in the comments. Nice one, Dan. He's put, we're probably rightly starting to be written off again. That's when we're at our most dangerous, especially in Europe. Expecting an electric performance tomorrow night. That's right, and I think that kind of helps us in a way when people are saying, "Oh, Liverpool are finished," like the Champions League. There's like the usual shitty accounts on Twitter, like saying, I think it was like clipped like Klopp's quote saying, "Oh, book the hotel for the final next year," and then put like the Napoli 4-1 game next to it, and you're like, one game in, mate. Like it's just craziness, isn't it?
Yeah, we've been there before, and we've been going through the group stages before, and we went all to the all the way to the finals before under Klopp. Even if we lost finals and stuff, we are a team that could go really far in Europe because it's a little bit different also with preparations and how you play in Europe in comparison to Premier League as well. We've seen it in the history of Liverpool Football Club as well. We can have really bad runs in the Premier League. As back in 2005, we were not really good at all, and we went to win the Champions League with a really bad team, except for a few players, to be honest. But can't compare them to kind of journeys back in 2005 and now. But you can't just say after one game that we're out of Europe. We got tomorrow against Ajax at home, and they don't seem as good as they were. And we would play Rangers as well, with no disrespect, but both teams are actually teams that we should beat on our day, especially at home. I know away games are not they are not easy, but we've done the hard part against Napoli away. Now we can just learn from it and take it from there.
Yeah, I think we said, didn't we? Like it's the hardest game, Napoli away, but I don't think we ever envisioned us getting battered 4-1. That wasn't.
But we didn't really show up, so it's more our own fault than actually Napoli did play good, but we were really really bad. Not taking away the performance from them, but we were really really shy, to be honest. Especially like we said with Joe Gomez as well, and the whole defensive line. That we've seen there. video clips of the defending for their second goal, with Gomez, Trent, Fabinho, even Firmino was there. No one, they just stood there like statues, like they were, stuck to the ground. And that kind of defensive way of playing, you will lose games badly. So, if they do that again, obviously, then we're probably going out. But I think Klopp will, tell them that kind of defense is not good enough. It's not something that he will accept, and we have to do better for each other, to be honest, like a team.
Yeah, I think one of Klopp's quotes as well, he said something like 8 of the players weren't up to the usual level and the other 3 weren't much better, or something like that, which is, I mean,
they
Luis
were just
Diaz,
normal.
he's not going to just go, oh yeah, only Luis Diaz was great. He's not going to say that, but we all know that was kind of the case for that game. But Doug's in the comments, well, nice one, Doug. Good afternoon, gents. Robertson, the latest Girona injury list. For fuck's sake, at least we have our Greek scouser who can come in. Looking likely the Chelsea game could be postponed too due to lack of policing. Yeah, Robertson, Klopp confirmed, is out until the knee injury. He's going to be out after the international break, so he'll miss tomorrow. He'll miss Chelsea if it goes ahead, like Doug says, because I think in the last couple of minutes, the Arsenal game on Thursday, the Europa League game against PSV, has been postponed because of lack of policing. So the day before the Queen's funeral, I doubt it goes ahead. But yeah, it's another one. Like, I don't know why we keep getting injuries, Kristian. It's just like, I was scarred after that season where we just kept getting injuries, and it's obviously not happening to the same extent, I suppose, but it's still a lot, isn't it? A lot of key players are getting injured, which is, I don't know if it's maybe because they're playing a lot of games and stuff, and Robertson's obviously played a lot of games, so I don't know. It's
come to the point where you're not really, you don't get upset anymore. You're just like, okay, another one. Let's deal with it, see what we can do, which is bad in one way. But it's sad that it's Robertson, because, like you said, he played loads of games. He played many games for us. Obviously, last season he plays all the games for Scotland as well when he's away on international duty. So players will pick up injuries every now and then, even if they're not injury prone. They will pick up injuries every now and then. So this is just, hopefully now, obviously with the Chelsea game maybe not going ahead, it means we got Ajax, and then we get some breaks as well anyway for everyone. So that might be good for us in terms of people coming back.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a quick look at the fixtures actually while we're on the topic. Like, so if Chelsea's postponed, the next game after that is Brighton at home, 1st of October.
Yeah.
Which is a massive gap where we can use to get us back into the right way.
And now when they lost Graham Potter as well, they might be a different team, completely different team to what they were in the start of the season. So
it's I know it's another good point. But Tomo has put a comment in. Also, I can't speak today. Would you not like to see Trent used in midfield in the future if we have these injuries again, especially when you see how central he is when we have the ball? I think it's something that's always come up, that, isn't it? Like the moving Trent in, and then you then have to play Gomez right back. Would have been nice if Ramsey had been around. He's been just obviously injured and whatever. So
yeah, I think the way we play is and it's been like that since Klopp arrived. He likes to use, and he used that in Dortmund as well. He likes to attack with his wing backs going offensive, like almost like midfielders, if you like, and then have a more structured midfield with defensive line in that kind of way. So Trent and Robertson are more like attackers when we play and going front, but it hasn't really worked the same as we've seen them done before. Obviously, we're all the assists they get every season, and has had for 3, 4, 5 years soon, breaking records and all that. So I think we see Trent in that position as someone who actually are very key to how we play. But now when we don't really have any backup for him, playing with that kind of offensive game plan. Joe Gomez is not that kind of player. So I would like, at some point maybe see him go into midfield because of the way he can play the ball and, direct the game as well. And even go for, trying to get some long shots as well, because we don't really have that. I get the point, and I would like to see him there at one point as well. But at the moment, the way we play, I think we're better off actually attacking from the wings, with obviously now Tsimikas and Trent, because Milner, I would say he can't do that job. Ramsey's out. We don't really have anyone who can go forward that way. So fair point to it, but maybe not at the moment. But
definitely in the future. He's only 23, isn't he? He's got hopefully 10 plus years at Liverpool left in him. And he's another player that just isn't, he's not in great form. He's really not. Like even the basic passes, like there's been a few times this season where he's trying to play a cross-field pass and it gets cut out and they can counter. So it's...
Yeah. If Ramsey turns out to be a player that actually is really good going forward, as they bought him because he's that kind of right back. If he turns out to be someone who can actually take steps and start a play, why not then try him on the right back and actually move Trent into midfield in some games where we feel maybe that we can use him in that position, just to see how it goes. But at the moment, I think Klopp will stick with him as a right, because he is one of the best in the world in his position. It's just that it hasn't been in form lately. So
yeah, I think it's one of them. Like if we did it in future, then it would have to be like you said, maybe a lesser team where we know that we're going to be facing a low block and we can go Ramsey right back, Trent in the right centre mid, and you can just kind of pepper them a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I could talk about that all day, and I don't want to. Yeah, got to go back to work. Got to go back to work soon. So, moving units in. Glad to finally catch one of your live shows. Nice one for jumping in, lad. And he's put, just when Reds go back to basics. Yeah, exactly. Dave's in as well. Nice one, Dave. How are we? Is that you asking how are we, or is it because Thiago's back and you're doing the how are we? But either way, I like it. Liz is a nice one. Liz, I just want to watch. Why can't I speak Kristian? What's going on? I've had like 2 coffees. I need more.
Are you sure you didn't have any whiskey in your coffee?
No whiskey at 2:30 in the afternoon. That's mental. Especially on a workday. I just want some joy watching LFC play football again. Yeah, it's as basic as that, isn't it? That's what we want. We just want, and I think Klopp referenced it and Joel Matip referenced it in the press conference. Like we just need to. It's not like a going back to basics, but it kind of is, and we need to make sure that we're just defensively solid and everyone's running. Not like Klopp saying like 8 didn't play well and the other 3 weren't that much better. That's a massive criticism, and he's not blind to that. And I think that's the good thing, that he's actually coming out and saying stuff like that, because he knows we're not stupid. We're watching the game as well. We know that level against Napoli and sometimes some other games this year just hasn't been the Liverpool level, has it?
No, when we've seen Liverpool through the years now with Klopp, we can tell straight away when the energy is on and we're, on top of the opposition straight away. They don't have a chance. But now we can also tell when there's not energy or any intensity. We know straight away after like 2-3 minutes, like, oh, fucking hell, not this kind of game again, because we will just run and chase and nothing will work. We can't make 2-3 passes in midfield or whatever, just stop it with the ball. So we can tell straight away when it's one or the other.
Yeah, I think we referenced it in the post-match Man United show where you'd obviously made your prediction that if we win 4-0, you'd shave your head. So we were all praying for that. Didn't happen.
6-0 even.
Oh,
I need to have some kind of limit.
Yeah, if Liverpool win 14-0 tomorrow, Kristian will shave his head.
Yeah.
14.
Let's go. 7-0. If we win 7-0 tomorrow, I'll shave live. That's fine. That's fine by me.
Can we do this? I reckon we do this every show until it happens. I reckon I'll just do it. Just but then every time it doesn't happen. So Brighton, if we win 6-0, and then the game after that 5-0, till it gets to 1-0, then we win 1-0, and then you do it. The silence is deafening.
We'll see.
Right, let's get back into. So I've got another quote from Klopp about the whole Naby Keita thing, which is, and I don't know if everyone's seen on Twitter, like his national team like put him in their quota for the upcoming games, which is just craziness. So Klopp's gave an update on that, saying that he doesn't expect Keita to go on international duty. The expected return date is somewhere in October. That's why we had to make the decision. With Ox, it is the same. that's why the two boys are not in the Champions League squad because of this. I know. Did you see that, Kristian? The whole Naby Keita thing, like getting picked for the squad, and then obviously it's just all a bit weird, isn't it? All a bit weird.
Yeah, I just read something about the international duties and stuff, and I was like, I can't even be bothered anymore to read into it, to be honest, because it's really weird when it comes to Keita. Is he injured? Is it something else that is a issue? If there's a personal issue with Klopp, or is it not? Because Klopp now talks like he's actually injured, and they don't expect him to go to international duty, but he's been included in the national team. It's just I don't know.
Mental.
Yeah,
it really is mental. It really is. We've got a few comments. Just want to fly through before we get onto some more team news stuff. Ant, how nice one, Ant. Mad if our game versus Chelsea gets called off when we're gonna play. When gonna play Wild, having international break as well, and be the last one for a while. Yeah, it will be. I can see everyone's putting the team predictions in. If you want to keep throwing them in, I'll save them till the end, and we can go through them all. And Tomo's back in with, I want to see Salah back on the score sheet. Definitely. I just want to see Salah back on the score sheet. Nearly out of me fancy football. Same, Tomo. I was considering it last week, actually. I was like, shall I just take him out? But then I keep thinking he's just going to burst into life and score loads of goals. So I've left him in for now. But yeah, we'll see how I'll monitor that and see how we get on, because I'm in one league where I can win like 250 quid, so I need to be on the ball with my selections. But so we've discussed, obviously Robertson's injured, the Keita and Ox thing, and then you also mentioned Curtis Jones is still out, which isn't good, because I felt like Thiago and Keita both out. He could have really staked a claim in this team, couldn't he? I think it was like Klopp said it was like a stress reaction in his leg, which
okay.
I don't know how bad, or I don't know exactly what that means, but it doesn't sound good. And the fact that I think he came back training for a bit and then he felt it again apparently, but not as bad, Klopp said. So it doesn't sound very definitive. It sounds like a bit of an open-ended thing, but it is a shame that we haven't managed to see him much this season, isn't it?
Yeah, and he could have been one player, like you said, who could take his, chance properly now when the others were out, and he could also be one of, making us, help us with rotation, to just make a substitution in, second half, just to come in and actually see a game out, because he got the skills. He just need to play, but now obviously when he's out, we don't see him play, and that's not helpful for him. It's not helpful for the team.
Yeah, and Dan's just put Jones sounds like shin splints. It does, and I've unfortunately had them, and it's not nice at all. I had to basically just not play footy for about 3 months, which was horrible. Couldn't even run. It was just like, yeah, horrible stuff. Liz has put, I think Jones has missed too many opportunities at this point. I think I agree partially. I think there's been times where he's thrown in and he's not quite done enough. I just don't know if he's putting too much pressure on himself. I don't know if it's because he's a local lad and stuff. I don't know, but the quality's there. He just needs to show it, but he's not been available enough. And that's another thing we keep talking about with Keita and Thiago. And I didn't really think Curtis Jones was injury prone, but over the recent years, he does tend to pick up quite a few injuries, which isn't great. But in terms of positive news, Carvalho is back and trained, which is good news, isn't it? Obviously, scored the winner against Newcastle, and then got to start the Everton game. Shame that he came off at half-time, because I felt like he wasn't really in the game, but I think he was just feeling his way into the game. He could have been good in the second half. I think it's a shame, but he's back, so that's a bit of good news, isn't it?
Yeah, he, like you said, against Newcastle, scoring that goal, having his celebration with the audience, and just feeling that atmosphere as well, would give him a boost. And I think he's shown that he's got the qualities as well. Maybe not even, maybe not starting every game, but to actually come in from the bench and make a change of the way we play and actually have an impact of the game as well. So he got the skills, and I really look forward to him just to start to play even more for us, because I like the way he plays it. He got a little bit of Coutinho feeling about him, and I like that he can play in different styles, and he's got the technical skills and the creativity. So yeah, we need them kind of players. So just good that he's not actually out for a long term, but actually back now training.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's one of them. Like he can be, Carvalho, and especially Carvalho and Elliott, they can be just absolutely amazing for us in the coming years. So we might as well get on to team predictions then, Chris. I'll just go through what we've got so far in the comments. First one was Doug. Doug has gone for Alisson, Gomez, Matip, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Fabinho, Thiago as a 2, I imagine that is, and then Diaz, Firmino, Salah, and Jota.
Yeah, why not?
What before I get to the rest, then what type of lineup are you thinking?
I think we will go with the normal one, like the 4-3-3. To be honest, I just Klopp doesn't really change if he's not forced to, and at the moment I don't think he's forced to it. To be honest, and also with us being really bad now in a few games with the defending, I think going, even if you got 2 holding midfielders, I think he needs the 3 more. What do you call it? Like the midfielders actually control the game in another way. I think I would like to see us play with Diaz, Firmino, Salah, and Jota, but I think that will be too offensive. We need to be more like we said, like back to basics and actually make sure we defend. And if we defend with confidence, then I know we will go forward with confidence as well. I think that's key, to start with the defending, and then the offensive will come by itself by defending good.
Yeah, I think it's
and control the game by the midfield.
Yeah, I think when people say how did Liverpool fix it, it's complicated in terms of people not being in form, and it needs to all come together as one at some point. But getting Thiago back and getting Jota back, that can't be understated how massive that is. And then obviously Kanate's back after the international break, I think, and obviously Robertson will as well. So we'll have pretty much a full strength team, and Keita as well, and Oxlade-Chamberlain back in October. So soon enough we'll have a full strength. For how long, I don't know. Probably not that long. But Dan's gone with Alisson, Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Fabinho, Elliott, Thiago, Salah, Darwin, Diaz. What do you think about that one?
That's mine. That's what I was thinking about. As we now see, the Wolves game and probably the Chelsea game being postponed, we don't really need to rest our best players because they will be rested anyway. So, I would probably go with Trent, even if he had a really bad game against Napoli. I just want, I want him to get that chance to actually show everyone and turn this around himself. And actually, I think with Klopp, telling them that they need to do this now to, put pressure on them, that they got the responsibility, wearing the shirt as well, hopefully. So Trent, yes, and obviously with Robo out, Tsimikas on the left, and then I go with that 11 that Dan is telling there.
Yeah, I think now that I look at it, I think that sounds good. To be fair, I think Elliott with Thiago and Fabinho alongside him will be well. I think he'll thrive and he'll have more confidence to kind of get forward and show the passing and getting into those spaces and pockets that he's so good at. Moving units, but throw Milner at left back just to see the fume. Imagine. Oh my god. Rico S. I am an Ajax fan. Nice one, mate, for jumping in. I'm an Ajax fan and cannot wait for the match to start for our first real test. And thank God we now play you guys with people in the stands. Yeah, because obviously we played Ajax twice with no fans in the stadium, didn't we? I think we win 1-0 twice. I think we won at home with the Curtis Jones goal. Speaking of the devil, which was beaten by him, and I can't remember who scored in the away game. Can you?
No, I can't remember, to be honest. But I have to ask Rico then if he knows the 17-year-old whose name is Amaricio Charvairo de Chantino van Axel Dongen. It's probably the best name that I've ever heard for a football player. He's only 17. He probably haven't played for Ajax, but he's got the best name ever.
Yeah, we've just been laughing about that because that is one of the best. But then he better be good. He better be good with a name like that.
Yeah,
it's like just because even back in the day when there was like double-barreled names, it was obviously more uncommon then, especially in England in the Premier League. You didn't really see any of that, like Van Hooijdonk and people like that were class. But then he's got about 12 names, so he needs to be times 12 good.
Yeah.
Moving units, put own goal in Amsterdam. Oh, of course it was. Ant has put media will be glued to our game if minutes silence. Yeah, I think Klopp mentioned this a little bit. He said obviously it's going to be a minute silence, and yeah, the media are just going to be like, right, let's wait and see if it's observed perfectly. They'll still have something to say. If it's not, there's bound to be people who aren't, and I think that's we'll just have to see what happens tomorrow night. Like, I'm going to be in the cop, and we'll see see what happens. Rico Axel van Dongen is a youth player. He is exciting but far from ready.
Yeah, well, he's ready with his name.
He's ready with the name.
Yeah,
What a name that is! Absolutely class. But yeah, then so in terms of definitive team selection, we're thinking Dan's is probably the best then. So Alisson, Trent, Matip, Virgil, Simicast, Fabinho, Elliott, Thiago. But then the only thing for me on that one, and I didn't see he's put 4-0. Get in, Dan. I love the optimism.
Not 7-0.
7. Get the Clippers out.
Yeah.
Jota then, that would be the only one that comes into my thinking. But then you're either dropping Diaz, who definitely doesn't deserve to be dropped, maybe rested, and then Nunes, I put a tweet up yesterday about this, saying he played like 2.6 games so far, which is just crazy that he's being like wrote off already. And I think he
their reactions,
and he needs to start, doesn't he, Darwin Núñez, just to get himself some form and kind of. I think the only way we're gonna get him blooded into the team is by playing games. I think that is the only way. Like, you can do as much as you want in training, but we need him to play games, don't we?
Yeah, and I think everyone loves Firmino for being Firmino, and I think he's been doing well the last couple of games. But like you said, I think that we just need him to play Darwin Núñez to actually get going with his goal scoring, because he got the ability. And like I said before, now with probably not playing Chelsea, if we were playing Chelsea, I think that maybe we would have seen maybe Jota starting instead of Diaz, because of the rotation and playing the important games.
Yeah.
But with that game, obviously now, I think, most likely being postponed, there's no point to actually, it's better to just play the best team that we actually got available, and we can still make the substitutions to, if Diaz seems tired, or if we want to change something, Jota can still come on. He can play on the left, he can play in the center. So, got the options, but now we don't have to worry about the game during the weekend, I guess. So you just put the best players out there and just let us go back to basic and just win this game, and then we obviously get the rest again because of the game against Chelsea not being played.
Yeah, like it's gonna feel like about a month break. That's gonna feel like absolutely ages.
We have to come up with things to talk about, because we still need to do shows, I think, just to keep it going. But if there's no games,
yeah. Well, we've got one planned for Thursday, haven't we? We won't tell everyone what it is yet. We've got a chat on Thursday with somebody, but we'll release that maybe on the Friday or something like that, which would be good. But Dan's put only would go Darwin over Jota tomorrow because he's just coming back from injury, and with the internationals coming up, wouldn't risk him from the start in this one. Yeah, exactly. And to put, be interesting to see if Mbaya is training with the first team. Trent needs dropping. Yeah, I've forgotten about Mbaya actually. He looked, I think, in the Man United game in pre-season, he looked pretty good and quick. But yeah, we just need Ramsey to get up to speed and at least provide some competition, don't we? Because I think it's one of those things where Trent knows that. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Trent. I really don't. Like, we're obviously getting targeted on that side because he's so high up the field, but that's always been the case. But it's the running back and maybe just a bit of being a bit lethargic and just not chasing back fully, and it's just a load of little things in it that
he looks tired. That's the thing. That's why we need. I would say we need someone who actually pushes him like Ramsey, or who can actually play instead of him, just to rest him in some games. I think he's played that many games. He feels like he's been a little bit too confident that he's not losing his place in the team, which he shouldn't normally. But if you always get, like, I wouldn't say. If you don't have some competition, you don't have to prove yourself in the same way, because we got no one better. And he's been playing that much, for a young lad for, a couple of seasons now, in almost every game that we played. Obviously, you can get tired, and you can get, you just get into that kind of situation where you don't really have to fight for your place anymore. I think just people need that. Like, especially if you're pros. You need someone to actually, be on your shoulder and say, well, if you're not playing well, I'm here to take your spot.
Yeah, and I think that kind of helped Robertson initially because Tsimikas was playing so well, and it lifted Robbo's game last year.
Yeah.
And obviously, since then, it's a bit more difficult with the form of players. But I think if it was just one player out of form, you'd kind of start to doubt that they'd ever come back from that. But it's pretty much everyone. Like you could say Salah, you could say Van Dijk, you could say Trent. You could say a load. Liz has put, I don't want to hear tired this early in the season. It's about motivation. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're saying it's like, I think it's tired, but I think it's also mental fatigue. I think it's loads of things, and I think we could talk about it all day. The amount of little things that are collectively attributing to it.
Yeah, but we know football pros, we're fans, having our opinions and everything, and but I'm thinking, even I was, my energy was just out of the window after last season when we did compete for every single trophy, going, to the last game of the season against Man City in the Premier League, losing by 1 point, losing the Champions League final, even if we won the domestic cups. I'm thinking I was tired mentally because I thought, you were on every game and just thinking every game was actually, it meant something every single game, almost half of the season from like the, November, December, and all the way through, because we were competing for, they are humans as well, even if they're being treated, with all the luxury around the game, with, what do you call it, like psychologists and people who help them with every kind of training or, rest and whatever. But, I just get the feeling that, that kind of run that we did last season actually is in their minds, even if we say it's not, and you hear, everyone say we go again and all that, but they're humans as well. I think, some players actually do have some, I wouldn't say problems, but actually is still back in that season and haven't actually recovered mentally from it. And that puts, if you're not recovered mentally, that actually will affect your physical, assets as well. That's just how I feel, because I was, feeling tired. I guess how are they not feeling tired of that kind of season?
Yeah, definitely. Like I don't think any Liverpool fan was like looking forward to the start of the season, going, right, let's go again. It was more like, here we go. The City game happened, and that kind of perked me interest, because I thought, right, there we go. We're looking very good, but then obviously lost some players following that. Just want to get through a couple of these comments before we do score predictions. So if you want to throw your score predictions in the comments, then please do. Dan's put, Maguire not ready. In my opinion, Trent is off form, but he's getting blamed when he isn't the cause or the fault for all the goals. Factors for Trent: mental fatigue, tactical switch, and lack of defensive support. Yeah, definitely. Dan's always talking sense. Rico has put, I'm expecting Liverpool to win 2-0. I think we will dominate the midfield, but our backs are not the best defensively, and Liverpool for sure can exploit that. Nice one, Rico, for jumping in with your comment. Liz has put, I hear you. I imagine this is to you, Kristian. But they have access to the best physical, mental training in the world. And I think it's, I agree.
Well.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like I think Trent, he just looks, sometimes he has the demeanour of him, he doesn't care. And I think that doesn't help as well. Sometimes he just looks like the ball's gone over his head. He's like, I'm not going to get it, so I'll slow down. Like the goal that pissed me off most was the the Man United one, where the 1-2 on his side, but then the one against Napoli, the Zambo and Gisa one, where literally the most basic 1-2 and they score off it. I don't know. That just really, really does your head in. But Dan's put, seeing people also criticising Trent for not getting an assist yet, but Darwin, Salah, and even Van Dijk have missed big chances that he's created. Yeah, I think it's easy to overlook all those things when people are just looking for someone to blame. And yeah, if you spend time on social media like I do, I spend too much time on there. Unfortunately, I shouldn't.
We all do.
Yeah, exactly. Liz's put, Trent looks lackadaisical, but I don't believe that's how he really feels. Yeah, and that could be the case. He just might be. Yeah, we don't know what's going on with him at the minute, but hopefully he'll get it right soon. But score predictions, Kristian, what are you thinking for tomorrow night?
I was actually thinking what Rico wrote, 2-0 Liverpool, quite back to basic, control the game, hopefully. Don't overdo things. Just play our way and score 2 goals. I'm happy with that. 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0. I'd take 2-0. I'd take 2-0, definitely. Dan put 4-0, didn't he? What else have we got in there? Look, Liz put 4-1 for Liverpool. Something has to give. I think it'd be crazy if we don't see, like, the first game after that Napoli catastrophe. It would be mental if we don't see an absolute us just providing carnage in the best possible way, just running everywhere, just throwing tackles in, getting stuck in. Obviously, not too much because it's a Champions League game. You don't want to run the risk of getting too many bookings. But we've got to be 50 times better than the Napoli game, and I think we'll see a reaction, won't we?
If we don't see a reaction after that game, and we know that Klopp has addressed this to the players and the team and everyone involved, that it's not good enough, and it's at Anfield, we're playing at home now, the Champions League, we have to just show that we play together as a team. And if we don't get a reaction, I don't know what to do, to be honest. Then we can just do something else. let's go and play darts. Whatever.
I was going to say, let's just go and watch the dart for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, because now you need that reaction, and the players will know it. But if they don't give Klopp that reaction,
well, that's when the serious questions need to be answered, isn't it? At the minute, it is, because we're nowhere near the level. But if he's asked for reaction and everyone's had a proper heart-to-heart behind the scenes, and it still doesn't get better, and like Liz put, we'll be exponentially better. And Dan's put Klopp will throttle them if they don't show up. He will. His teeth will be nearly falling out his face. He'll be rubbing them together that hard. That's how annoyed he's going to be, because he wasn't even that annoyed against Napoli. He was just more in disbelief. He was looking like he just couldn't believe what was going on. I think we were all the same, obviously, watching from home or watching from the stands, wherever you're watching it. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 as well, hopefully. Just a clean sheet and just get a win. I mean, obviously, Ajax won the first game 4-0. So if we beat them, we're on level points with them already. So we're already in a good position. I imagine Napoli will do well against Rangers as well.
Yeah, and not only just win, hopefully we can actually play well and win. See that Liverpool that we've seen, they play really good, being creative, actually give them hell, to be honest, and actually be on them from the start. Just see that kind of reaction. That's what I want. And if we do that, the goals will come. We know that as well. We've seen it before. If we play that way, we score goals.
Yeah, and like the old Klopp quote, like, just we want to be the worst team to play against. We want to be the team no one wants to play against. And we've probably been like top 5 best teams to play against this year, because there's no press in midfield, and you can just whip a ball over the top and go, there you go, mate. Get a fast striker, you're in, and you'll score. Yeah, and that's how easy it is at the minute. So that needs to change, whether it's formation or tactics in terms of the high line, which I doubt he'll change. But personnel, Thiago back, and to see maybe Arthur Melo as well, that would be nice tomorrow as well.
Yeah, I just saw this comment from Liz. Yeah, I'm all into that. No more hugs if the guys don't actually give a reaction and give their all.
Yeah, it'll be Klopp chokes instead. Just pick them up and choke slam them, like Undertaker Kane style. Just absolutely slam them down. But yeah, let's leave it there, because we're getting on for 45 minutes. But yeah, nice one, everyone. There's been loads of comments, considering it's like 10 to 3 on a Monday afternoon. That's really good to have that many people in. But yeah, nice one, everyone, for watching. If you're watching on YouTube live, then make sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching later or before the match or whatever, then do the same. Please like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 1.5 subscribers before maybe halfway in the season. I wanted to get it there before the start of the season, but it was maybe too much of a mountain to climb. But yeah, and if you're listening on whatever you're listening on, audio podcast like Apple or Spotify or Deezer or Google Podcasts or whatever you're listening on, then do follow us on there and leave us a review or rating or anything like that you can do. That would really help us. We'll be doing a show on Thursday, which we'll release more details about maybe on Twitter. I've got 2 former Liverpool strikers interviews coming up, Kristian. 2 former Liverpool strikers. So that will hopefully, they're not 100% confirmed yet, but I've been having chats and hopefully be able to get them over the line, and then we can put them out for you as well to watch, which should be good.
Nice.
And yeah, nice one, Kristian, for taking the time to
Cheers.
jump on. And nice one to everyone in the comments. You're absolute legends. Let's hope Liverpool go and put on a performance tomorrow that we desperately need, and then we can go from there against in the Brighton game about a month later. But yeah, nice one, everyone. Up the Reds. Let's go. Let's get a win.